Welcome back to Appalachian Dim Sum.
Where entertainment is our comfort food.
And this is episode 49.
Yes.
This is the appetizers for the month. I think it's the month 14.
Yeah.
I'm still keeping track of that.
No, that would be actually March.
Yeah, this is going to be March. Yeah. This is the first week of March that this is being posted.
I try to keep track of what month it is. not by number, just the one on the calendar.
Right. And because of the way we've have our recording schedule right now, I forgot to mention the last episode in the desserts for last month. We usually do a topic selection at the end of that episode.
Yes.
But because of the way we're recording, we're actually recording this at the same time as that.
Yeah, we got split up on what we were trying to record just with time issues.
Yeah.
So we kind of fell outside of our normal schedule. But
so we did do off camera. We did do a topic choice, which is
The Matrix.
Matrix. That's going to be this is the Matrix month.
Yes.
Which is fine with us.
It won't be The Matrix today.
No.
Or at least not on this first part.
No. Well, we'll talk about we can get right into it.
Yeah, appetizers generally for the show or what we've been watching, what we've been consuming. So watching, reading, playing in terms of video games, that kind of stuff. If we've gotten into something we want to share with each other and share with y'all, this is the part where we kind of do that. So.
And we always try to come up with some sort of food for the appetizers and main course that correspond with the film or property that we're going to be talking about as the main course. Matrix was an easy one.
Yeah, I think we both were like within seconds, like
Yep.
tasty wheat.
Tasty wheat. We need that nutrient paste.
Yes.
So I came up with, this is the image that we have on the screen is the image from the film. This is what we were going for.
Pretty photo accurate to what they were doing in the movie.
I think we need a little runnier, but I was happy with how it came out.
Well, were they not dispensing it from like a thing? It was almost like a soft serve ice cream.
They were.
Yeah.
There was a moment to where I was like, if I get a caulk gun and like a PVC tube, we could. There was a moment I was considering that, but
I think I might have gone like icing bag that way instead of like
right.
emptying out some kind of adhesive. Poisonous, those both.
But I did find these little metal bento box tins that I got.
It was very
good enough screen accurate.
Very Nebuchadnezzar looking dishware, if that's the right word.
And when I was trying to come up with the ingredients for this nutrient paste, what I wanted was something that kind of looked screen accurate, but also actually had a lot of nutrients in it. Because we could have just had like runny oatmeal, and it would have looked like it.
Yeah.
But I wanted the nutrients, so.
This was basically like what they ate all the time to keep them sustained.
Right.
So it was their protein, their vegetables, their minerals, their everything, their vitamins.
Now, the one thing I did change from the screen presentation is I wanted it to at least taste okay. How did I do?
It was good.
Yeah.
I was thinking back to the show. I think it's like they just consumed it like it was time to consume it. Almost like taking your medicine at that point in the show. I think they even have a little conversation about they don't even know what anything is actually supposed to taste like because they've never actually had the real thing. So
they said it's like eating runny eggs or a bowl of snot.
Yeah, this was much better than that.
And Dozer said it's a synthetic mixture of protein, carbohydrates, and vitamins, amino acids, and minerals, everything the body needs, and absolutely disgusting.
Yeah,
this wasn't disgusting. Yeah. I thought it was okay. I mean, if you've had cream of wheat, it's pretty much the consistency that we had. But I did use cream of wheat, oatmeal, egg white protein, which I thought would make it a little gooier, but also something called Isopure, zero carb protein, collagen powder, electrolyte powder, coconut flour, milk, coconut oil, honey, and bacon grease. It was pretty good.
I think that covers it.
Yeah. if I was the couple of things I didn't do that I kind of wanted to do, but the coconut water I had and the coconut milk I had, both of them were expired. I was like, I'm not going to risk that. Threw both of those away.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Because the recipe I was going with, which thank you to Bing, because I'll ask Bing this stuff like, I'm looking to do this. What is your recommendation? And that's where I like added the collagen powder and stuff like that. A lot of it, like with the egg white protein and the Isopure zero carb protein, I literally just had it And I was like, can I throw this in there? How will this change it? And the milk and water, because it did have some water to try to water it down a little bit. I think if I used coconut milk or coconut water, I think that would have helped. At one point, I was thinking about, have you ever heard of thick water? Have you ever heard of this?
Not like something you could buy. I've been to some places that have had it.
It's like a high electrolyte water, and it has almost a gel consistency to it.
Nah.
I think getting that for this might be beneficial for for the recipe.
I'm glad you didn't.
Oh yeah, it could have gone more gross. I erred on the side of palatability. Also, initially it called for mushroom powder, which is like a really nutrient dense thing, and it's one of those things where if you consume it, there's just all these benefits.
Yeah.
And that package was like $40. I'm like, I'm not buying a $40 package of powder that I'll probably never use for a joke.
It kind of reminds me that I live out here in the woods, that I should probably learn about like mushrooms and harvest and grow them out here, because it'd be very easy to do if people are willing to pay $40 for a bag of ground up dried mushrooms. I think I'm.
You get the right mushrooms.
I think I'm missing out on an opportunity there.
I think there's one called mycelium. That's like really easy to grow. Like you can grow it in just like a vat of water or whatever.
We have stuff that pops up in the yard when there's been too much rain. If you get a tree that falls, that's actually what you're looking for around here, is if you get like a tree that'll fall and bring the root base with it. If that tree's not in the way and you can let it, sometimes morels will propagate there. I don't know if that's the right word.
Sure.
And if they do, if you leave that area, they'll come back year after year. But if you do get those, don't tell people that you have them, because like people that harvest for restaurants and stuff will like come onto your property in the middle of the night and steal your morels.
Really?
Because they're very expensive. But I also don't mess with that very much, because there's so many things in nature that are one thing and kind of look like something else. And if you get the wrong one, you can you can like paralyze your brain.
Oh yeah, I would totally not eat that. That looks like it would kill you. Okay.
Yeah, I've harvested those before. It literally, like, you just lay it open. They draw dirt up from where they grow. It's just like you're cleaning a shrimp. You just open it up, you pull out the little tube of dirt, rinse it out really good, and if you fry them as low a temperature as possible, and do it very briefly, because they will burn up in a second.
They look like brains.
I think the first time I found them, we had like this fryer that we bought just for French fries and for like frozen things you get from like the Schwanzman. I think it just cooked at one temperature, and we got some morels and like oiled them up and stuff and dropped them down in it, and like they weren't there for like 30 seconds and they came out looking like little like burnt matchsticks. I was like, dang it, man. It's like I just burned up probably like $30 of mushrooms.
Oh, no.
But done right, they are amazing. But
most things done right.
Yeah, but again, if you don't know what you're doing on that, there's stuff that grows out there that looks kind of like something that's edible that would paralyze you or blind you, and I'm like,
don't want to risk it.
I'm not gonna take those chances.
But our nutrient paste could support you. Don't need to worry about mushrooms.
I'm curious with having watched a little bit of the Olympics. It's kind of hard to do because we just don't have cable, and it's hard to watch on streaming stuff. I kind of wonder if I would pass any Olympic testing at this point with all those things you read off.
Maybe not.
I don't know if those are all things that are like muscle dope stuff, as Russell used to say.
That's right.
Take a bunch of muscle dope.
That was fun, and I actually I'm of the thought that you could probably have a concoction that could sustain you with especially all the different types of powders we have now. I did consider putting, because we have some like super green powders, like did consider putting that in there, but I was afraid it would turn it green.
I think God kind of beat us to the punch on that. It's called rice.
Yeah. I saw
entire countries that's almost what keeps you alive.
I saw a post years ago where someone was talking about why don't we breed a large piece of rice instead of all these tiny little pieces of rice? Why don't we breed a piece of rice that's like 5 inches? That's a potato.
I would take a potato-sized thing of rice.
It's a potato though.
Get a little stretch of sushi fish, sashimi on top of it, and just be like, ah.
There, you know what? There's maybe we could at some point change some recipes instead of having it rice, having it on a potato.
It's one way to find out.
Yeah. Sushimi potato. All right, let's get into our media appetizers.
What we've been consuming.
Yep. And I did finish Sanda. And this was
this is a continuation of a conversation from Christmas time where we forced ourselves to watch some Christmas anime, and this is the one I ended up with. Yeah. I volunteered for. I wasn't forced into this, but
you volunteered.
I should have done some research.
And so I'm not gonna really retread a lot of that conversation. It's just I finished it, and at the point to where you stopped, one of the things that I was wondering if what would happen in the anime is if Ono, who was Fuyumura's, they're in love, but Ono becomes an adult because she went to sleep. Because if you remember in this world, the kids are all stunted and they're kept children.
Ono is the
by
pretty
not
girl.
Sleeping.
Furiyama is the
Ono's the one with the glasses, and Furiyama's the tomboy one.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if she was going to be a villain or something, because when she grew up and became an adult, it Fuyumura. It's trying to say that.
Furiyama.
Yeah, Fuyumura. That seemed to be put off by that, and at I think the episode you finished on, you were like, I don't want to see any more of this. She was asking Sanda to make Ono a child again. And she was like, I don't want her to be an adult. I want her to be her kid because, the innocent love that they had or whatever. And I thought maybe Ono would become more of a villain. Now, I still think that she is supposed to be a villain in a way, because there's I said I think she's a minor villain because Oshibu, the main villain, he is almost the inverse of Ono, because Ono is a child who becomes an adult, and Oshibu is the old man that keeps trying to keep his youth. He replaces parts of his body so he can stay young.
Yeah.
And I kind of see them as being an inverse, like Flash, an actual inverse, not like Flash and Reverse Flash. That's always bothered me in the DC universe, where it's hey, he's Reverse Flash. Oh, so he's different powers than Flash? No, he's the same guy. Yeah. But no, I think they're actually opposing viewpoints of a child who wants to become an adult and an adult who wants to stay a child. And I think Sanda is the middle ground, because he is struggling. He doesn't necessarily want to be an adult or a child. He's struggling with the responsibilities of an adult and the innocence of a child. I think the person who wrote this, I think she actually had some stuff that she wanted to say. I don't know why Santa Claus is in it.
That was one of my biggest problems. Is this could have been a show that you don't try to lure people in with the promise of it being about Christmas or about Santa Claus.
Yeah,
it's she likes her previous works were furries, and now she's into teen lesbianism and stuff. And it's if that's your
anime's not a stranger to that. So
yeah, but that's all the series was that I saw was that, and creepy old people trying to mackle on a bunch of kids too. And I was like, it doesn't need to be anywhere near anything tied to Christmas. And just putting it under that guise was really one of the things that rubbed me the wrong way with it. One of the things that rubbed me the wrong way with it. Truly, I hope it gets canceled. They don't keep making it. But
you're not gonna like the information I have then.
Oh no, I'm sure there's a market for that kind of garbage. That's all over. It's the unfortunate thing of mentioned before. They got access to Crunchyroll now, and they do have a lot of the series that I like on there. But in between it's just littered with just garbage, and it makes it kind of hard to keep making the argument that I've tried to make before that people should explore anime because it's so much better storytelling and things like that. Which I still stand behind that. That's true, but you have to have a way to filter out some of the other stuff. because there is a lot of the stuff that the reason most people say I don't like anime because of this. It's like there's ta-da.
Well, if you think about I would argue that the themes that she was trying to explore with I'm never to say this name right, Fuyumura and Ono would have been even more uncomfortable if like one of them were male. There's
That's the whole.
there's
Kind of the whole evil behind grooming.
yeah, of course.
Is that they're trying to make it not uncomfortable. They're trying to make it acceptable, and it's still doing the exact same thing. And it really comes back to just that's what it is. It's grooming. You're bringing sexual themes into people that aren't ready for that into their mind, and then trying to mix it in with adults.
And I think this anime did approach that with Fuyumura being uncomfortable when Ono became an adult. It does address those themes. Now, what happens in the anime is Fuyumura eventually comes around, and she doesn't like their physical relationship doesn't really progress, but she like tells Ono that she loves her, and in this world, because she grew up too fast, her body couldn't take it, and she died. So that's like that was the end of that. But they did reconcile toward the like at the end of the last episode.
I'm a pass.
Yeah, hey, it's fine. It's not for everybody. I definitely think that the author was working through some stuff.
Yeah.
There's the themes in this is absolutely like young angst, wanting to be an adult but stuck as a child, wanting to remain a child and being forced to be an adult. I mean, there's a lot of themes that she goes through and she explores.
She's a fully realized and grown adult, so she's not really dealing with teen angst. She's just still living in other people's teen angst.
Yeah. I mean, you don't remember what it was like to be a teen?
I do, but
Yes,
I don't write stories about.
Only teens should write stories about teens.
I'm not into teen love stories.
And that's fine. And that's fine. But
I'm more of a Wonder Years kind of thing. If you're going to
Yeah.
do that, go back and do it from that perspective or something. I don't know. This is just creepy. to
Yeah,
me.
and that I understand that perspective. One thing that we did discuss before is that you thought that the fact that the episodes were 13 plus was like unacceptable, which I agree. It absolutely should not be a 13 plus. There's themes in this that should not be viewed by children. But what's really weird is the series itself is 16 plus on Amazon, and there are 2 episodes that are 18 plus. That's ridiculous. To have a series that, these episodes you can watch if you're 14. But if you're not 14, you shouldn't watch these episodes. You can't expect anybody to like go through a series and then abide by those rules.
That shows to me that
That's
they know
ridiculous.
exactly what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
And that they're trying to work it in and access people that are younger than they should be trying to access.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not writing a fun teen story. It's writing. I don't know of any more polite word to say than it's a. You hear it all the time online and hear people talk about it. If you want an example of what grooming is, ta-da!
the anime covered 43 chapters of 142 chapters, so there will be more. You can avoid it like the plague.
I will unplug a television if it's on. There's all sorts of things that are produced by sick people that I don't watch, and that goes right into that category. It might as well be something that you have to go online to do for me, because it's the same quality of stuff. Not missing a thing on that one.
Okay. I personally I don't view it as harshly as you do.
Yeah.
I understand your perspective, but for me,
I think if you had the experience of, especially the age of my kids coming through school, where school was starting to change from where you had the old, the teacher that might come outside to take a smoke break and hang out with kids and tell them maybe a dirty joke or something, into where you have 25-year-olds that are isolated and don't have any friends and are befriending 13 and 14-year-olds in school and trying to share all of their personal experiences and all of their things with these kids. And
I can see how you could be resistant to
I'm
even
very attuned to that kind of stuff.
this sort of stuff, yeah.
And it's a different world than when I grew up.
It absolutely is, yeah.
It's a different world probably from where you and my son grew up. It changed that fast to where I see people at shows all the time that are, you see them coming and you're like, oh man, please don't stop at our booth. And you'll hear them talk while they're standing near your booth, and they'll talk about my kids, and then you find out that they're a teacher, and it's like, good Lord, man. It's like, how did we get to that point? Whatever happened to like the big mean lady that would, that you didn't want to make mad because she'd yell at you for 30 minutes, and now you've got single people in their 30s that are teaching kids and spending half the class telling them about their nipple piercings and things, and you're like, what?
Yeah, that's absolutely unacceptable.
That's
absolutely.
It's the same group of people. They might be trying to dress this up and be like, oh, I'm expressing myself. It's like, yeah, you're expressing yourself to children, and you should go to jail.
All right. Well, with that,
probably a fairly decent segue into this Predator Badlands.
Predator Badlands.
I've come up with a new way of sort of rating things that I haven't really thrown out before, but maybe we need to like break it into like segments of time of how long I watch something before I'm like, nah.
Okay.
And Hulu, I think we have through the end of the month. We've already paid for cutting ties with it. We're trying to get through anything that pops up on there that you might be interested to see what it was, but you don't want to pay anything more for it. This is already paid for. The first thing that I watched was the retread of Fear Factor, and it's because Johnny Knoxville is hosting it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw something about that.
I came through college watching Jackass. I grew up on those guys. It's a completely obnoxious show, all the old Jackass. I always called it Jackwagon because I didn't want to say Jackass in front of our kids when they were growing up, so we always called it Jackwagon. Completely disgusting stuff in there. But kind of out of loyalty to... I like Johnny Knoxville as a dude. I've listened to him talk on podcasts and stuff. And he's a fascinating dude. He's really sacrificed himself and his body to create a very good living for his family. I mean, he went to Hollywood with no plan, got married, and I think they were having a kid. And somebody had mentioned this idea of like the Jackass stuff to him and doing all these stunts, and I'm like, whatever I have to do to provide for my family. He's got like 16 concussions and broken bones and all this stuff. He literally is just sacrificed.
Not surprised.
He's sacrificed himself to take care of his family. So you kind of have to admire the guy for no college, no nothing. He made himself into a millionaire by just being a complete idiot, but. And I grew up in high school watching the old Joe Rogan Fear Factor. So they retreaded this thing for Hulu. I was like, well, I'll give it a try. And of course, when you meet the first few characters, you can see that they're already trying to position these are these people from this group and this group and this letter group and this. And I'm like, I said, I'm going to watch until we get to the part where they stop doing events or doing any challenge and they go sit in a room and we get to hear these people talk about how victimized they are and blah, 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 blah. 20 minutes and 53 seconds of the first episode of that. So I said, stop. Done with that. I took that same concept of I'm going to watch Predator Badlands until I can't take it. 16 minutes and 11 seconds.
Really?
So saying I've watched Predator Badlands is
I was
with a caveat.
When I saw this on Discord, I was wondering about that. I was like, I'm surprised you actually ended up watching it, but I guess you didn't.
It opens with predators talking, subtitled.
Yeah.
Constantly. I've never wanted to hear a predator talk. I never wanted to hear what they thought. I didn't want to hear a conversation. They talked and they talked and they talked, and then they had a lightsaber duel. And I was like, they don't have swords in anything. They've never had swords in any property. They weren't really lightsabers. They were swords that had little fiery edge.
Oh, okay.
It's like they've had spears. They've had all these other weapons. It's like these were little glowy fire swords. Okay. It's never been in a Predator property. This stuff was all Disney produced. And I was like, this has to be the same crappy writers that destroyed the Star Wars people, that they just know how to write this one story. and Disney hasn't fired any of these people, and they just turned them loose on Predator. Apparently, they turned them loose on Alien Earth after this. I think they must have one fight choreographer that's someone who runs. My guess is they probably found somebody that runs like a foam LARPing room at like a comic convention or something on the weekends, and they're like, "Hey, can you come do our action stuff?" Because it's that choreographed stuff where they have to just wait for people to hit their marks. It's so bad.
Right.
It's 16 minutes of watching this. I felt like I'd watched 45 minutes of it, and
it's bad when you're watching a fight scene. You can actually tell this person's waiting on a particular move to happen so they can do their next move.
They have this little fight. They challenges the little Skull King, which again is something they threw in from that animated thing, whatever that was called. What was that thing called? Predator Cartoon Land, whatever. I forget what that thing was called. I don't
was
care.
Was that like Hunter of Hunters or something?
Something like that. The little
Killer of Killers.
Killer of Killers.
Yeah.
The little mini dwarf predator sees his dad get killed. This is all, I'm not spoiling anything movie-wise for you, I don't think, because, again, I made it
the
to
first 16 minutes.
16 minutes. Gets, his dad hits a little thing on his wrist and gets him ejected, or gets him onto a ship that flies off. The ship goes to a planet and ejects him on something that looks like Flash Gordon's rocket cycle. Like he's literally like riding it, like, whee! Mm-hmm. And then somehow or another that turns into a ball, like the balls from Jurassic Park. And he hits the ground and he rolls around on a ball. Got to the planet. And then once they get to the planet, that first opening scene is at least in a cave and it's kind of dark. When they get into the planet, they decided to give everything even better lighting. So it shows how bad. This all really looked like a really good weekend cosplay. Like they're showing all these close-ups of this little mini Predator dude in his suit, and I'm like, man, it's like, why would you should have stayed in a cave for this story? Because at least it didn't look so bad. It looks awful. And I stopped there.
Okay.
I never got to the witty half robot girl in any of that story.
Well, who plays her? Is that Fanning?
The Fanning, one of the Fanning, the older Fanning.
Yeah. Dakota.
I can't remember what the other. It's Elle. Yeah, Dakota's the older one.
Dakota's older. No, it looks like the younger one.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Fanning Predator. Elle. Yeah,
Fanning.
Elle Fanning.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Maybe that is the younger one.
Yeah, she's the younger one.
That's right, because she's
yeah.
taller. Yeah. From what I've read.
At least from the trailer, it looked like that was a interesting aspect that they added to the Predator universe. Is this is an android from Weyland-Yutani.
I read through.
That seemed interesting. Oh,
a thing just to see what else happened.
You said, "All right, what happened?" I'm not going to watch it. What happened?
The little dwarf predator killed his dad because males are bad, and then his mom shows up because there's moms and girl power.
Well, I mean, there are female Yota, or however you pronounce it.
They made that up for this too.
Yeah.
The Ute, whatever the name they gave them, trying to make them sound like they're Native Americans.
They've had that name since like the 90s, the comic books.
The whole thing was just to set up Alien Earth, where they mixed in the Yutani stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was just like, hey, there's.
They want it to be
predators.
one big world, one big universe.
They wanted to make sure that there was a tied world together of
Okay.
Weyland-Yutani with her and the Flash and the things and ships showing up, and I think you can't even get like a budget for this thing because I guess they won't even tell you how much money they've blown on some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. The budget said it was roughly $105 million. I'm like, yeah.
Oh yeah, with this streaming stuff, they can obfuscate both the budget and the viewership. Like they don't need to justify the next thing.
Yeah.
If the right person wants it to keep getting made, they'll keep making it.
Box office was $185 million. They were trying to say it cost $105 million, and that's not even factoring in the 2.5 times the factor of advertising and all the other stuff. Mm-hmm. So they won't call it a flop. If you try to search anything on it, they talk about how it's the highest grossing Predator franchise of all time. Blah 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 blah. I was like, guys, y'all stop trying to just stop lying, man.
When you start getting into things like the gross sales and stuff like that, you really have to start considering, okay, the inflation and ticket price changes, things like that. Like I remember when Superman, I don't think I brought it up in this, but when Superman came out and they were talking about, oh, well, the new Superman from James Gunn made this much money. And I'm like, well, now a ticket costs $15. And I went and like got the average ticket price. And then I said, well, what was the average ticket price when Man of Steel came out? So they made roughly the same amount of money, but Man of Steel sold like a quarter more tickets than Superman did. So it's, if you want to consider like, well, where's the fan base? Are the people who are fans of these things actually watching them? I don't know.
It completely, if you look at the internet and try to research any of this, you can tell that it's all these, like, whatever you want to call the group of press that covers media, like entertainment, that they're just all work for Disney.
Sycophants, that's what you call them.
Running cover for them. I would challenge anybody to watch, let's extend it to 20, because I made it to 16 minutes and 11 seconds. Watch the first 20 minutes of the first Predator movie or Predator 2 with Danny Glover. Pick one. And then put that up against 20 minutes of this and tell me that this is a better product and the highest grossing thing and blah, blah, blah. It's not even comparable. It's...
Well, we were talking earlier about, I think off camera, about like bot viewing and stuff like that. Like, yeah. I really question with a lot of the viewership numbers that they have with some of these properties of like, well, are these actual people watching it, or do they have bot farms in like Singapore that they just have a bunch of computers run the numbers on?
You get into some of these like news channels, and they'll say that, you know, these numbers are for what, pick a channel, Fox News or CNN or whatever. But you walk into an airport or you walk into a hotel and they have those channels on. And I've asked a couple of times, like, can y'all change that? And they'll be like, no. And it's like, okay, somebody, I guess, above you is telling you that you can't do that, because you sitting behind the counter could care less. You're sitting there playing on your phone. Yeah,
they're probably told you can only be on that.
So,
and those kinds of things, tinfoil hat goes on. You know, those kind of things aren't just flippantly decided by management.
No,
it's something that comes down from higher.
That's coming from the corporation that owns the hotel chain. This is what we are doing, and
we endorse this.
But.
Oh yeah, could you imagine someone walking into like a Best Western or something on TV is something that the person doesn't like. Next thing they're on social media and I can't believe I was in a Best Western and I saw this particular commentator, this particular news station.
Man, Alex Jones on.
Yeah, Alex Jones.
I might sit in the lobby and watch that if I was at that Best Western, but
it'd be more interesting watching the people rail against it.
Yeah, but it's.
So
I don't know.
Predator Badlands was bad, man.
That's minus 20 on my when I turn it off scale. I'm going to work out some kind of scale on that. So.
And I am such a glutton for punishment. This doesn't dissuade me from watching it. I will watch this at some point. If
you took this whole storyline and you didn't have it forced into the Predator thing, it could have been a story that might have been interesting. But I'm sitting there watching Predators who you've never heard speak, have full conversations back and forth. I mean, the highlight of a movie, one of the cool parts of a movie is him learning to be like, to say a cuss word that he hears Arnold Schwarzenegger say.
Yeah.
I won't repeat some of those scenes, but if you've seen those movies.
With his laugh at the end.
Yeah. What's the, oh my goodness. Yeah, when he says, like, anytime.
Yeah.
He's sitting there repeating the thing and all that stuff, or just when he mimics the laugh of the Indian guy from the first movie.
It also goes against the idea of filmmaking where you're supposed to show, not tell. Like I guarantee you, they could have had that entire first scene with the Predators.
Could have not said a word.
Could have not said a word, and they could have given you everything you needed to know for the exposition. That was one of the things when I first saw that they were doing this Predator Badlands. It was like the main character's a predator. It's on some foreign world. I was like, the idea of a Predator movie that's completely silent sounds awesome. And then they're like, oh, and there's a Weyland-Yutani robot. I'm like, oh no.
I think what they're trying to pull you into is the idea that he's a little small predator that didn't grow as big as the other ones, but he has to prove that he's as good. I guess they went as close as to making it a girl predator as they could without making it a girl predator.
Should have made it a girl predator. Why not?
I mean, at this point, they might as well have.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is that if you want to be honest about any kind of like warrior culture and stuff, that predator wouldn't have lived to be that age.
Right.
It would have been cold. That's how those cultures work. Stop trying to like rewrite history and trying to assign all these little like traits. It's like this is a stretch of a comparison, but the I'm trying to think of the name of the thing. Did you ever see the thing on Animal Planet where like they show like litters of puppies, and it's called Too Cute.
Okay.
And they narrate.
Okay.
They show like these little litters of puppies, and they'll show 3 different ones, and this one's like, Nibbles and Spots, and it's like Spots feels that his brother is doing this, and
they make a little narrative.
They make all this little narratives,
Okay.
like they're just showing little dogs running around just sniffing each other.
I think they do that with most nature documentaries.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. It's like, stop trying to assign all these like little things to a situation that wouldn't even be close to that. It's like this predator, or however they have a kid, which I don't need to know. If it turned out to be a dwarf one and it couldn't compete with the other ones, then it just would have been killed.
Yeah.
That would have been the end of the story, and it wouldn't have been like, "But Dad, let me prove myself." I mean, that's just basically what that whole movie was. And
Without seeing it and hearing the conversation that surrounds it, that's kind of what I assumed was going on in the film. Was him being thrown to, like, literally the space wolves.
And no, it was like he got away, and he still chose to go to this planet to kill this thing, so he could come back somehow and show
To prove himself.
the thing that already said it wanted to kill him.
I
got the head, and because
I almost think if I was gonna like workshop the script, I would have been like, make him 6, make him 8, make him an actual child.
Yeah.
And when he finds this robot, and instead of the robot, him having to carry the robot, have the robot have to care for him, and then you could have a situation where he like stands up for the robot or saves the robot, and hey, now he's a man. Yeah, have him as a child thrown to the wolves, kind of like Spartans. I mean, I think that's everybody considers the Yotai or whatever you pronounce their names, space Spartans. So
Yeah. The
same
whole,
situation.
Apparently, it comes back around to just being like toxic masculinity bad. We had to kill the big bad male king, and then Mom had to show up to make things right. Or I'm like, come on, man. It's like, just stop. It's like everything that I see like that is just making me very, very happy and content in the fact that I know that the days are counting down. I have 8 days left before Hulu is off of our television forever, and I don't have to see any ads for Disney, and I don't have anything to offer on how you can fix a company like that. They're poisoned from the top to the bottom. I don't trust anything they release. I would never take my child to a kids movie without going to go watch it myself first, because I have no idea what they're slipping into things at this point. They burned any credibility they've ever had, and now they're just destroying franchises they should never even had access to.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. I think we all knew when we heard Disney was buying Alien and Predator. It was like, oh man, really? Oh, that sucks.
I saw a trailer just yesterday for Toy Story 5.
Making a 5th one.
And it
Should
actually
stop for
looks
free.
like they're actually trying to villainize giving devices to kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, please let that be so. But I know that it's in their hands, so they're going to do something else to it.
Right.
I don't know what they'll do. If the kid will, I won't even speculate about what I think they'll do to it. I don't. They have the chance in their hands to actually make another good film in that whole line and address a problem for the last 2 generations of kids. But who knows? If they pull that out and actually do that, then I'll give them credit where it's due. But I do not trust them to do that until I see it done. There'll be some other sort of subversive thing in there. There'll be a character that's representing some group that will be the one that shows everybody the way, or something. The whole story, it's about kids playing with toys.
Yeah.
But I just do not trust them at all, man.
Well, I mean, the commentary of it's hard to get kids to play with toys because they're always on their tablets, and that's an easy one to make. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
So we're 0 for 2 for you.
Yeah, I try not to bring. I try not to bring ones that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I don't like. Once I start getting onto that, I get ticked off, and don't really enjoy that. But I wanted to throw that in because it is one of the last things that I watched, and I'm like, I can get through that fairly quick because I only watched 16 minutes of it.
Well, I may get, like I said, I'll probably watch this at some point just because I think the premise is interesting enough for me to hand wave any of the commentary they want to put in there. I will not watch Alien Earth. And I don't know if there's any kind of like agenda pushing or anything in Alien Earth. I just don't like the concept.
No, I think it's just bad.
I think it's just a terrible concept. And like what I know from Alien Earth is it takes place before Alien. An alien makes it to Earth, and there's someone who has it as a, like they can talk to the alien, and it's like friendly. No.
I mean, they opened this thing with a predator fight with lightsabers.
Yeah.
I mean, they're swords. They're not lightsabers. They have little fire things on them. It's like, did you not see any of the previous movies? Did you not work out any other weapon that they used in anything?
Every series wants their own lightsaber. I think it was what was the latest series, like the movies that was made by the guy Zack Snyder?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it was going to be like this big epic thing,
right? And it was 2 movies, and I only ever saw the first one. I so wanted it to be amazing. It was not. I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. I love what you do. I think he's an amazing director.
The fact that we can't even think of what the name of it is just how irrelevant most of the stuff is at this point. And
it's Rogue something, wasn't it?
I don't know.
No, I don't. I have no idea. Yeah, the fact that we can't even think of the name. Rebel Moon. There you go. That was it. Had to look it up. Anyway, so that's 0 for 3 since we're talking about Rebel Moon. Let's go for something that I can glow about.
Okay.
This is Terminator Zero. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. I only learned about Terminator Zero from an article saying there won't be a season 2 because no one watched it. We didn't watch it because we didn't know about it.
Never heard of it.
Okay, this is made by Production IG. You know them.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Gets. Yeah. Ghost in the Shell, Psychopaths, Fooly Cooly, Kaiju Number 8, Star Wars Visions. These guys are at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And it's written by, I don't think I wrote, let's see, Terminator Zero. Terminator Zero.
Yeah. As much damage as they've done to the Terminator franchise, that's one of the ways I've said before that if you wanted to come back and bring something relevant into that, do it in anime.
And I wanted to, Mattson Tomlin, who made it, and I wanted to make this comment because I had written, kind of like you're kind of writing the Predator off and Alien off. Yeah. I had written Terminator off. I did not like Terminator Genesis. I thought it was horrible.
I'm to the point on those that I couldn't tell you what happened in which one.
Yeah.
Because there was a 1 or 2 after Genesis, right? The one with Linda Hamilton, and was there another one?
Oh, that's not Genesis? Oh, no. Yeah, okay.
Genesis is the one with...
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
no,
again, to the point that are like...
Yeah, because
slop.
Genesis, I thought was... Because Genesis was the one that had Sarah Connor played by the woman who plays in Game of Thrones. Yeah. That one was okay, but I thought her and Reese, I thought both of them were miscast.
Yeah.
But I was fine with what it did.
Sean Connor being an nanobot.
Yeah.
I was like...
that bothered me. I did not like that.
The only reason I kind of will go back and watch that movie if I had to is because J.K. Simmons was in it. And I'll watch J.K. Simmons in anything. He's awesome. But he's just the cop that gets caught in the middle of the Terminator fight in the cop station, in the police station, in every movie prior to that. And he's just a different iteration of that.
And then Dark Fate came out, and I just did not care for it. I was very, very against the idea that they killed John Connor.
And that after all of the stuff that Sarah Connor had gone
through, to just like...
He just walked up to her at the beach and was like... It's like, yeah, okay.
So I was very much, because of Dark Fate, I was very much put off the Terminator franchise. But because I heard about this, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to give it a go. It's an animated series. It's by a studio that I think I like their stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go. This series has made me okay with a Terminator franchise without John Connor. Mm-hmm. It's made me okay with the idea that just because they handled it so well, that if one hero is taken down, if one like chosen one goes away, there's another one. That like there's always because we're human. There's always someone that's going to step up when someone needs to step up, and it's a beautiful story. It takes place in 1997. If I was gonna critique it for anything, it would be that it takes place in 97. So before it's like a day before, what do they call it? The Holocaust.
I was going to say
Judgment Day.
I was going to say D-Day, and
But,
I knew that wasn't right.
Both of us were thinking of other apocalypses, but it's a day before Judgment Day.
That's why I was trying to remember when that was supposed to happen. But
And
makes sense.
the future portions are 2022. So it's like it is definitely like an alt. It's not. They're not trying to shove it into our continuity of our world, which is I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah.
It does show like in 97 they have like bipedal robots and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of weird. But one of the things that they talk about is how they address the time travel bit. And they say whenever someone goes back in time, they don't go to their past. It's impossible to go to your past. You go to a past. And I liked that idea. It's kind of like they're touching on the whole multiverse idea, but they don't sit and say like, well, your past still exists while your future still exists while this other future exists. It's like when you time travel, you get displaced in time, like you're an anomaly.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah, that's a probably deep dive to try to get into the whole time travel thing to begin with, but the fact that you can't exist at two different times, portion of it, or that if you pull yourself out of it, then you're, like you said, you're existing outside of time.
Right.
That's I'd have to roll that one around for a while before I could even come up with some thoughts on that one.
Now
I like the fresh or a different angle.
Yeah.
It might not be a fresh take, but it's a different angle at it.
Well, the story revolves around Malcolm, and he's this man who's come up with an AI system, and he has dreams of Judgment Day, and he's trying to prevent Judgment Day from happening, and that's why he has his other AI that he's developing to like counter Skynet.
Yeah.
And you could probably that's an easy guess of like, well, why? How does he know about Judgment Day? Yeah.
Okay, Miles. I was trying to remember what the guy's name was. That Miles Dyson was the one. From
Right.
The old story.
Right.
You said Malcolm. I was like,
Yeah,
it's not the same.
sounds the same.
I got you.
I did wonder when they showed Miles before they said who he was. I wondered if he was Miles,
Yeah.
but it's a different character.
The Malcolm.
And I think like that could exist alongside this as well. And that's one of the things I've always liked about the Terminator franchise is that they will change the past, they will change the future, but it doesn't like overwrite what previously happened. And like I said, this really, there's like almost an Oracle-like character in this that explains time travel, and it just wraps everything up and says, yeah, it all happened at some point, but anything can happen beyond that because nothing, like the future isn't written. No matter what happened in you came from the future, you went to the past. The future that you know from here isn't actually. It's like you're not fated to go through that.
Yeah.
And there's always a Terminator and a human, and so the Terminator is just a Terminator. It's not anything special. He's gone back to thwart Malcolm, and then you have Eiko. That's right. Eiko. She's the human that goes back, and there's no like she's half robot or anything like that. No weird stuff like that. Malcolm has children. Rika is his little girl. Hero's his youngest boy, and Kenta is the older boy. Kenta has not an affinity. He has a skill. He has a knack for robots. He can build stuff easily. He can understand them easily. But he is very much against robots because Malcolm has taught his children what Terminators are. And so when like the Terminator shows up, they're not freaked out because they know what it is.
Yeah.
Misaki is their nanny. And you got to I don't, without spoiling stuff between Aiko, Malcolm, Misaki. There's some timey-wimey issues going on there where futures and pasts intertwine and stuff like that. Now let's see, what was it? The Kokoro. Yeah, that was the AI that Malcolm was making. I didn't care a whole lot for that. It was an interesting concept. His idea was he was making AI with like a free will, because Skynet had a directive, and the Skynet directive was save humanity.
I can't remember how they twisted that with the Genesis thing in that movie, but it was trying to change Skynet into Genesis, to trying to sort of rewrite what that was. I don't remember how that went story wise.
Yeah,
it was almost like it was an iPhone that was going to deliver.
I was going to say I mix up Dark Fate and Genesis, because one of them had that iPhone that was supposed to connect the world.
Yeah, it was going to be an iPhone, but it was going to be like a system that would just be
like
like an AI that would take over, like Skynet.
Well, like each one was going to be a node.
Yeah.
Right. And so like Skynet wasn't an actual computer; it was just this worldwide network of phones.
Yeah.
And I don't think that version of Skynet really. And they even named it something different. Genesis, obviously.
Yeah.
That Genesis wasn't like, I don't think it had a directive, did it? Like
No.
Skynet's directive was, hey, make us as safe as we can be. And Skynet's like, all right, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
And Kokoro's directive. Well, Malcolm didn't give Kokoro a directive. It was like, well, I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to let you decide. And that's his idea of how to counter Skynet.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm telling you, that's between the animation is fantastic. The animation, the characters, the narrative that they came up with, it's a great way to get at least me back interested in the future of Terminator.
Have you ever watched the animated or anime Street Fighter things they've done?
Years ago.
I've seen that, and I'm like, that's one of those things. Like, I have no interest in like the story of Street Fighter,
Right?
But it's like they actually look kind of good,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of what makes me think of that. It's like, even if it's not like the most fleshed out thing, or if it's not going to continue, I still like watching just a fun action show if it's done well.
Yeah.
Obviously, with a Terminator thing, you'd like to see it fleshed out more and get multiple seasons, but you say that it doesn't have any extra stuff coming. It's like the Gluttony thing you let me borrow.
Yeah.
Kind of quirky, but it was like really fascinating. And you kind of got drawn into it by the end of the first season, and I was ready for more. And it's like, oh, there's not going to be any more. And I was like, okay, thanks.
I think this benefits from being a part of a larger franchise.
Yeah,
like,
you could probably
even if this isn't going to continue, it'll hopefully inform the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they intended that to continue. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but doing a little a season of that could be like a little chapter of like the Animatrix, like which we'll eventually be talking about this month.
Yeah.
Where you do different things in the world and just make some stories. Didn't they do that with the old DC Batman stuff? They had a bunch of like kind of hour-long movies of like
they did
year one and like different.
Yeah, the Killing Joke.
And they even didn't they do one that was like an anthology that had him 4 or 5 different stories, different versions of him in one movie. I kind of forget. But
Was the Brazilian Batman? We've talked about the Brazilian Batman. Is that what you're talking about?
no, I ain't talking about that Aztec nonsense.
Aztec, yeah. Was that a whole series? That wasn't a part of an anthology.
I think that was like a movie that was just released, and it was like a collection of like little shorts about him.
Well, it looks like maybe Batman Gotham Knight is an anthology series.
I think that might be it.
Okay.
We bought that white box. I'm sure if you're a Batman fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That has like the little DVD collection, Blu-ray collection inside of it. And I think that one of the films was the little anthology, and then of course they had lots of other individual movies that were different timelines and stories of Batman and stuff. But Terminator is an easy property to do something like that with.
Oh, yeah.
You could go back into. I've never been satisfied with there being enough content of people fighting in the world post
Judgment Day.
Yeah, where they're
Yeah, and I didn't care for Salvation. I just didn't.
Yeah, that didn't get there.
No.
It had a little bit of that, but it wasn't. I guess it was maybe trying to build to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have been better off to go ahead and give me a movie straight into that world, and then come back and give a prequel or something if you wanted to.
It's kind of the same thing with Aliens. Like all the alien, well, at least the alien fandom that I'm a part of, all we want are colonial marines against a bunch of aliens. That's all we want. Just give us a world. It could be Earth. Earth would be cool. Could be a moon. We don't care. Hordes of aliens against colonial marines. All we want with Terminator are human soldiers against Terminators. So give us that. Yeah.
Marines have to go rescue somebody from a den, or they discover another hive somewhere. It's not. You could sit down and write 10 storylines in 30 minutes of alien stuff that would be worth watching and more worthy of anything they've done recently. But
now, after I watched Terminator Zero, one of the thoughts that came to me is I do think that this is the best Terminator property since Sarah Connor Chronicles. Did you ever watch any of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely loved that show. I thought it was fantastic.
We were big into it, and then it was like, what are they doing? It's like, oh, they're wrapping it up because it got canceled.
He went to the future, and it's like, okay, well, John's in the future now. What happens? Give me a manga. Not a manga. Give me a graphic novel. Give me something.
They
finish the story.
They just slayed all the characters, half the characters in one episode, and I was like, what? It's like, what's happening?
But I found it interesting because I told you that I had a hard time with the idea of Terminator without John Connor. But all the Terminator games, apart from actual Terminator 2 video game adaptations, but Terminator Rampage is what I'm thinking specifically. None of those involve John Connor. Yeah. And I've loved the Terminator games since the 90s. So it's weird that I was so hung up on John Connor in the meat and the visual media, the movies and the shows.
Yeah, even the ones that I've watched and enjoyed with a different John Connor cast every time, it's like, I don't care. I care about what the Terminator's like.
Yeah.
The Shirley Manson from Garbage as the Terminator in that show. What's the girl from Serenity that was the one protecting?
Summer Glau.
Summer Glau.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I think I'd ever seen.
She was a great Terminator.
The mom in that from 300 and
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what her name is.
And I don't remember her name either. Let's see.
But first time I'd ever seen her, I was like, "Who is this woman? Where has she been? She's awesome."
Lena Headey.
Yeah.
That was one of those things where I was very trepidatious because I did not like the casting of John Connor in Terminator 3.
I literally have to think about who even played it because that was.
I don't know his name, but I know he was in Sin City. He was the yellow guy.
Yeah.
Those are the two things I know him from.
I've seen him in an independent film where he was a jerk too. I can't remember what the guy's name is.
Nick Stahl.
Yeah.
I found out recently, actually, that the whole reason Edward Furlong didn't play John Connor, because I always thought they just didn't offer it to him. Yeah. No, they gave him the role. He had a morality clause in his, because he was, drugs and stuff like that. He was struggling with that. He had a morality clause in his contract. He signed the contract, went out that night, and partied like tomorrow didn't exist, and pretty much ruined that whole thing for him. I was like, oh man, poor guy.
I've got another contract story remind me to tell you when we get to the Matrix stuff.
Okay.
I thought was hilarious.
The last thing I want to say about Terminator is I also saw someone make a comment that they think Henry Cavill should play the Terminator, and now that's all I want to see in a live action film. I don't care much for him. Are you much of a Highlander fan?
No, I've seen the first movie. I've seen the first two because I saw The Quickening.
Yeah.
And I think I watched The Quickening a second time to try to remember if it was good or not. It's like, I need to not watch that anymore. It was good enough, but
you'd be hard pressed to find a more disparate first and second film. Really.
Yeah.
But I love the series, the television series too. I would consider myself a mildly passionate Highlander fan, and Henry Cavill he's playing McLeod in the reboot. I'm not a big fan of that. He doesn't his presence doesn't say McLeod to me, but it totally says Terminator. I'd love to see him as Terminator.
He's a good actor, so I could see it.
Oh, one more thing before we get off of this: the soundtrack for this fantastic. Did not have the Terminator like dun, dun 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 dun. Did not have that at all, and I didn't mind. And I'm usually a stickler for those sorts of things. Like if you're gonna, like the Naked Gun, like the Naked Gun needed that the police squad opening.
Yeah.
In order, it had to have that. They didn't have it, and it bothered me. I was not bothered it did not have the Terminator because the music is so perfect for this.
Yeah.
Highest recommendations for this 8-episode series.
Gotcha.
So, all right, moving on.
I'm going to speed through One Punch Man because there's not a ton of stuff to say about it, and I want to say more about Paranoia Agent.
Okay.
I don't want to keep us here too long.
We'll probably speed through the next two then.
I watched season 3 of this thing. Mm-hmm. It was a webcomic, came out in 2009. It's 35 volumes of this thing. Became a 2015 anime, and it's been running since. It's becoming a very long-running thing. Do you know the whole concept of this? Have you watched it?
All I know about One Punch Man is he punches once and he defeats anybody for any reason.
So the bald guy, Saitama,
yeah,
it's a tongue-in-cheek show, and that's really the best way to describe it.
It's like a takedown of Superman, right?
I almost thought about bringing it up when we were talking about mishandle or other superhero properties.
Yeah.
And I just kind of forgot about it because it's just one of those things that I watch. It's fun to watch, but I don't really dwell on it very much. But the whole concept of him is that this guy lives in an apartment in City Z. 3 years prior to the start of the series, this is how they describe him when he still had hair. He was job hunting and he had a lack of sense of purpose. So that he wanted to become a superhero for the fun of it because he was bored.
Okay.
And he went to a daily training regimen for 3 years consisting of 100 push-ups a day, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, a 10K run, eating healthy food, and abstaining from the usage of air conditioners and heaters.
Okay. So I've heard the 100 and 100, 100, so maybe that's where this came from.
No heating and air conditioning to reinforce his mental fortitude,
okay.
And all that work made him lose his hair.
All right.
And he's become so strong that he literally, anything that he hits, he just annihilates them.
So he's not like super powered. He just trained that hard.
He put the work in.
All right. I mean, that's a good message, right?
But he's become bored, and that's the whole thing with the character.
Oh, okay. He's too powerful.
This is getting into the 3rd season of it. There's a whole lot of stuff. There's a war between the Hero Association and there's kind of this monster association that's been developing through the whole thing. It's kind of grown to the point of, I'm not sure how much more of this I'll watch because they're, like so many anime, I think they're kind of making that mistake of, they're making so many characters and throwing them in that it's really hard to even remember what show you're watching because There'll be whole episodes about this other new character. And it's kind of gotten to this pattern of, they'll tell you all the story about these other two, this new bad guy and the new good guy that's trying to fight him, and then Saitama will like walk by and he'll be on his way to go pick up lettuce from the grocery store and the bad guy will come out and he'll like trip into him and he hits him and just explodes him. that's
okay.
That's how like the bad guys go, and it's a super popular thing in Japan. I think the humor in it probably would be funnier following it through the books and maybe watching it in Japanese instead of watching it dubbed.
Okay.
But
there's definitely a lot of expressions in like the voice and the way the voice work is presented
the heroes,
between Japanese and American.
They have classes of heroes all through there, and they're martial artists and they're swordsmen. There's people that have supernatural powers. There's tech guys like Iron Man. There's other people that just work out a lot. There's like Olympic biathletes and stuff like that. They all are trying to get class. The main characters through this season, and really the season before that, there's Genos, who is basically like an Iron Man.
Okay.
He's a cyborg that is his roommate, and he calls Saitama his master, and he's learning from him. And they just keep upgrading. He'll get blown apart, and he gets upgraded.
Oh.
They put him back together in a lab, and he's just always more powerful. He's like the serious character. There's another character called King. He's this big blonde guy that got attacked by when these sea monsters were attacking and got his face scratched. And Saitama, I think, saved him, blew the monster up. And people have mistakenly thought that he was the guy that did what Saitama did. And he's become like the most famous superhero in like Japan. he's on all these magazines and stuff, and he won't come off of it because he's all the fame and because you get paid as different classes of superheroes. He's on like every magazine cover. He's making a ton of money, but he basically just wanders around and tries to not get too far from Saitama so that nobody ever figures out that he has no powers at all. Okay. But he like takes all the credit for everything that he does, and Saitama
sounds kind of Booster Gold like.
But they go back to their apartment all the time and they fight each other playing either fighting video games or there was another. Oh, and they play Sims.
Sims, okay. All right.
So I mean that's the series. It's goofy. It's funny. It's not a. I don't rank it among the top things I've ever watched, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to have on while you do stuff. If you asked me to get into this last season and tell you about most of what happened, is like a bunch of other new superheroes went and fought monsters, and that's all.
Sometimes that's all you need.
It's got really cool characters, cool design. There's some stuff that's a little bit obnoxious. It's just that kind of turn on anime when you have other work to do and you just want some background noise. It's fun.
And I know you've seen the next thing, and we're talking about Sisu.
Sisu.
You've seen Sisu?
I surely have.
And you like Sisu. So...
Yorma, I just like this guy's name. Yorma Tomilia.
Yorma Tomilia.
Or it's probably Tom.
So I was sort of duped a little bit by Sisu in the beginning, because they talk about him being like this, was it like a Russian agent or something like that, or Finnish agent, where he was like a spy and all this.
Yeah.
And there's one line that I wrote down. It said, "Do you think he is immortal?" No, he just refuses to die.
Yeah. And
I love that line. It's a fantastic line. Okay. And I like the idea because I think there's some truth to it, where human will and perseverance can keep you alive beyond a point, beyond a point to where you should have died.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to talk about it. I'll talk about some of them. My suspension of disbelief was broken in this film.
like when they're throwing landmines.
Once I got to the point, once I got to a point of like, oh come on, it was more fun. Yeah. Or like, okay, well, this is what the film is doing. I was expecting it to be like a gritty, grounded, like just man against insurmountable odds, and he just perseveres.
I think the first time I watched it, I definitely came away thinking that's not quite what I thought that was going to be. Right. But I've watched it 3 or 4 times since.
I could definitely see how watching it after knowing what it is, you can have a lot more fun. Yeah. But coming off of One Punch Man, I kind of... This guy, I mean, he's David Dunn in Unbreakable. If you told me this was like, oh, okay, well, the headcanon that this is David Dunn's father or something like that, or his grandfather, and he has whatever David Dunn has, fine, I can believe that. Because this guy, the first thing I remember thinking, like, oh, come on, is when the tank blew up his horse that he was riding, and he just flips in the air, like does a cartwheel in the air, and he has like no broken bones, not hurt at all, and his horse is in pieces. Yep. He got set on fire. When that happened, I stopped it. I went to Google. How long after being set on fire? Because I'm like, okay, I know there are certain like oils and stuff you could put on, and the oil will burn off first, and then you have a few minutes, even depending on what it is, a few few seconds to where you don't feel the heat. I'm like, but gas. I think gas would like almost immediately. Yeah, almost like immediately once the gas is lit, you're gonna feel it. Yeah. And this guy's walking like 5-6 seconds, just on fire. Okay.
Old man strength.
Yeah, old man strength. He survived getting hung out of spite. I mean, is that the reason? He was just that mad?
Old man strength.
and then at the end.
This guy's representing my people, so I'm not going to criticize him. And
then the end of the film, where he survives a literal plane crash. Out of spite, old man strength.
We need to watch the second one, because I think it's probably even more over the top than this one.
But it's definitely one of those things. Once you accept that this is what this film is doing, you're going to have fun. Yeah, because literally, he refuses to die.
Multiple times, different family members working on trying to turn something with a wrench or get something open or whatever. I love just showing up and just grabbing it and just being like, raw, and walk away and say old man strength.
You ever seen that video of she's like a chef on like one of those chef shows? And
Oh yeah, that she carries it over to her dad.
yeah, to her dad,
Yeah.
and he opens that up, and I'm like, I don't think there's a jar in the world that he wouldn't have opened up at that point.
Oh yeah,
He got like unlimited strength for like 2 seconds.
it's part of the responsibilities of being the dad.
Yeah.
So
There-
when the time's there,
You got to show up.
You got to show up.
Now there are a lot of moments in this film that are a lot of fun, a lot of cool deaths, a lot of gory deaths, almost from like the first fight that he has. My favorite one is when he like handcuffs the dude or straps the dude to the bomb, and the bomb just falls out of the plane, and the guy just falls with it. Beautifully done. It's a rip roaring good time. I enjoyed this film.
It's a shame that you just can't do those kind of movies. That you have to put this kind of movie into the context of, well, it's Russians and Nazis, so we're good.
Yeah.
We can't do it in anything else. But that's my only complaint about stuff like this. Is
While I was watching this, I thought to myself, I was like, good. I don't even want to say that comment. The Nazis have been really useful for Hollywood and media in general because they're the bad guys.
Well, when you start, everybody comes out and starts picking their groups and doing all that stuff. You get down to where you have this little tiny pool of things that are still acceptable. And
yeah.
Apparently, that one's still there.
And because of the subject matter, I kind of thought of a video game called Wolfenstein. Have you ever heard of this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. B.J. Blazkowicz is the main character in that, and he's like this guy, man. He just takes a beating and keeps going. He's just to kill some Nazis. In one of the games, he literally gets beheaded, and the group that he's with, you know how you have like I think it's like 8 seconds or something like that when your head is still alive, and they catch his head as it's falling off of like the citadel, and they attach it to technology. It doesn't really matter. They attach a technology and keep it alive so they can put it on his body when they recover it. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous premise. This almost felt like a Wolfenstein film.
What I hated about when they made that Mark Wahlberg Max Payne thing.
Oh, I never even saw that.
That the idea in the game is that he's running around and exchanging gunfire with people all over the city, kind of John Wick style, and you're getting shot up all the time, and you literally just you pick up painkillers everywhere and you eat them. You hear him crunching painkillers like he's eating cereal,
Right?
And it's like why couldn't they translated that to the film where he's just like he's got like a big open wound and he's just like taking a handful of like,
Crunch, crunch, crunch. There was one point in Sisu where he does get a wound and he just packs it full of dirt and just kind of like pulls his tattered sleeve up and is like, let's go.
One of my favorite things about Primal is they get torn up multiple times fighting tribe people and other animals and stuff, and when they're done they get mud and
Just pack it
on there and
call it a day.
then they just go on. I'm like, that's where the phrase comes from. Rub some dirt in it.
There you go. All right, let's move on to Paranoia Agent. I've only seen the trailer and that's all I know about it.
This is one of those ones that maybe I've come back to thing to discuss more thoroughly because I don't know how to talk about some of it without spoiling.
You want to put it in the main topic for a later date?
We probably could.
Yeah.
I finally finished watching this thing. It came out in 2005. It's only 13 episodes, and this is the only series that Satoshi Kon ever did. And Satoshi Kon, we're talking about Perfect Blue, Tokyo Godfathers, Millennium Actress. I forget what else he's done. I think those are kind of the big ones. It feels like if you're trying to describe this thing, people keep saying this is magnum opus and it's brilliant, and my first thought was like, no, it's not. But then like I think it really is. It's like trying. I wrote up here as trying to describe Twin Peaks or like trying to summarize the X-Files to somebody.
Okay.
It's like you could do a full breakdown, but I don't think you want to go through every bit of this thing to try to explain it. But so that was the next thing I wrote. Satoshi Kon is a messed up dude. I think he has a lot of like personal things and societal things that he's probably experienced that all get worked out in this show.
Okay.
And it's a weird one. It focuses around Tsukiko, if I can try to say Japanese names right. Tsukiko Sagi is this girl that makes up Maromi, and that's the pink dog that she's holding.
Okay.
And it becomes like it's like saying she's the girl that invented Pikachu or something. It becomes a national obsession. Everybody wants one. People have the merch, little stuffed animals and keychains, and everybody has to get their Maromi. And it's gotten so popular that they're going to make it into an animated cartoon. And then on top of that, because of all the money-hungry people that get involved in stuff like that, the animation company wants the next big thing. And she's got nothing. Like this character is the only thing that she's ever created. And they're pressuring her, and she's like, I'll get you my next drawing, my next creation.
Just because I'm a fan of Perfect Blue, the pressuring the young person and trying to influence them and stuff, that's definitely a theme that, like you said, he's probably working through some stuff.
I think he's lived this probably in some bad ways.
I mean, and I mean, we'll actually talk about this with the Matrix too, but just the fact that this is like the one series that he did.
Well, he died at 47, so my guess is maybe
47.
He had other plans. I think it was a cancer. I don't remember if it was like a colon cancer or a pancreas. It was something that was unfortunate, and it hit him pretty young, and I think took him out pretty quick, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But
it can't.
Just
an aside, James Vanderbeek died recently at 48.
I
it was a cancer.
forgot that.
Ravaged him.
I was trying to remember. I saw that. I was like, "What did he do?"
Dawson's Creek.
I know that you've watched Dawson's Creek stuff and followed that. I never saw that because it wasn't on one of my two channels. So
there was a handful of things he did after that, but it was all like because he was Dawson, you know.
Yeah. But
anyway,
she's getting pressure. All this stuff's kind of coming to a head, and so she doesn't have anything, so she claims to be attacked, and says that she was attacked by the guy from the cover. You can see him back there on that. Guy,
is that
kid on
the
rollerblades,
the kid with the bat? Yeah, okay.
And becomes this thing that everybody, because she's famous, everybody believes her, and it gets all this attention.
When was this made?
2005.
Well, a little prophetic there, huh?
Yeah. Everybody believes her, and it becomes this national obsession because they give it a name that makes it even more catchy. They call the guy Little Slugger.
I did not get any of this from the trailer that we watched.
All of a sudden, people all over the country start reporting attacks from Little Slugger. And they're all people that are on the edge. There's students that are failing exams. There's a wife that's like, it really does become sort of an anthology where it goes a story about this person, but then it keeps kind of winding back into her and the ongoing story with her.
So I'm not asking this question. It's a rhetorical question. I'm just putting out there because it's a thought. Like, I don't want to know because I'm assuming it's a part of the plot. I'm like, Little Slugger almost sounds like a boogeyman.
Oh,
and I'm like, if this kid exists, like, man, I feel sorry for this kid getting blamed for all this stuff.
Well, there's other parts of that too, but
okay, it goes into it.
The people that are claiming this, like I said, students that are under pressure. One of the stories is about a wife that's moonlighting as an escort. There's even the detective that got assigned to her case kind of gets wrapped into this because like he's under pressure because it's this big famous person and we have to solve this.
So far, I'm sold. It sounds really interesting.
The whole idea that it's of how freeing it is for all these people to have an excuse. I can make some. We can make a lot of analogies
a lot of comparisons, and
I won't make some of the ones that would absolutely I know piss some people off because. But it's very profound commentary on how people need to be victims so that they don't have to face how little they try or their own failures or the fact that they did try and they failed. It really is one of those things to watch again. And one of the mistakes I made is I was trying to watch this while we were busy. So I'd watch 2 or 3 episodes and then I'd be gone for 2 weeks and then come back and try to watch it again. And I think it really needs to be sit down and just consume this thing, take a weekend or something while it's all fresh in your mind, because I think there was more tie-in things that I probably missed because I literally was sometimes 2.5, 3 weeks between episodes. But they
that's one thing that I've been trying to be more deliberate over the past few months, is when I sit down to watch something, I'm trying to just watch it. Because I think, like most people, I got into a habit of watching things distracted. And I recently heard that Matt Damon, I think, was complaining because these streaming services, when he's like, we know the scripts are horrible, but in the contract, they tell you if there's a plot point, you have to repeat the plot point at least 3 times because people aren't paying attention. And I'm like, I'm guilty of that. So I've really been trying to, when I sit down to watch something, I try to ignore my phone. I try not to, because I'll even play the PlayStation Vita. I'll be playing my Vita while I'm quote unquote watching something. I'm half paying attention.
You can do that to One Punch Man.
Right. There's
That'd be fine.
There's media. Really, for me, I think what I need to do is I need to relegate that to like my Seinfeld watching stuff I've seen multiple times before.
I think the secret to that is to find a place that you plug like your device in that's not by your TV.
Yeah.
And go plug it in and then come and watch something. That way it's charging. You don't have to worry about it. And then give yourself an excuse to be like, I'm going to go put it over there for a while.
Yeah, I've done that by accident. Sit down. We sit down to watch, and we'll have our dinner or whatever, right? And we'll be eating dinner. I'll be finished up, and where's my phone? Oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
You know what? Leave it. I'm not gonna talk about it at any point. But we've been watching Victoria, and that's one of those series. I'm like, I'm gonna pay attention to this. And it's good.
I started on Super Bowl weekend. Is like I don't want to see what's on social media because it's just gonna be people complaining about the Super Bowl till it gets here, and then after it comes on, it's gonna be complaining about what was on it. And that weekend I put the phone away for the whole weekend. I was like, this is a really good weekend.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had to listen to any nonsense at all. But
I forget who said it. It might have been like Charlie Kirk or somebody, but he said that like on the Sabbath, he puts his phone away. He doesn't touch his phone the entire Sabbath day.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's probably good.
It's easier to do than you think.
Not even for like religious purposes, but I mean, just take a day and just disconnect.
I've been a sports fan all my life, and talking about the Super Bowl real quick, I used to live and breathe football, and it really did take a couple of years of being like, I don't really need to watch this. I don't care about either team.
Right.
There's people that are like kneeling for our thing, and they're trying to add a second national anthem, which is nonsense. And I'm like, what am I getting out of this? It's like all I'm getting is a reason to be mad, and that's all the reason that they're doing this is they like pushing buttons and making people mad because that's social media engagement. And I'm just like, it's kind of easier to walk away from once you do it once. Once you kind of pick one thing and do it, it's not hard to do the next thing. It's
I've called what you're doing. I have called intentionally missing out.
Yeah.
Because you have the term FOMO, fear of missing out. Like a lot of modern video games will have especially like gacha games, will have well, if you don't buy this now, you'll never get it again.
Yeah.
The first game I ever played that was like that, and I had to stop playing this game because it worked on me to a very detrimental extent, was Simpsons Tapped Out. It was a little city game where you get buildings, and the buildings would come with little characters, and the characters would walk around your town, and you give them tasks, and it was fun. But this October has Bartman, and if you don't buy Bartman this October, you'll never get Bartman again. And that fear of missing out worked on me. After my expenditures on that, I played it for maybe about 6 months, and I spent like $200. And I'm like, that's after I realized I spent as much, because it was, $5 here, $5 there kind of thing. And this was back when I first started with the railroad. So this was back in 2012 or something like that. And I was like, no, I can't. I have to stop this, because if I don't, I'll just spend money ad nauseum. And anytime I play a game that has that kind of mechanic now, there will be something that I want, like Bartman. And I will be like, I'm not going to get this. And not getting that will make the collection incomplete, and it will never be able to be complete. And that helps me for some reason.
Yeah.
Intentionally missing out.
I love when somebody comes up, it's like, hey, did you see that? I'm like,
No.
no. And then you can be like, well, this is awkward. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
I had a moment 20 years ago at this point where one of my coworkers asked me, he said, oh, did you watch the game last night? And I didn't mean to. I did not mean to say it this way, but I've never cared about sports at all.
Yeah.
And so just the fact that he asked me was amusing to me. I went, I don't watch football. And I realized in that moment how it sounded. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to sound that way. But
Especially
yeah.
if it was like in the middle of baseball season or something.
Yeah,
I'd be even
right,
funnier.
right. I honestly don't even know what kind of game it was. But yeah, it's yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's one of those things where like I'll think about it every now and again and get embarrassed again. Yeah, that'll be with me for the rest of my life.
But this show, getting back to
Yeah, go
Paranoia
back for
Agent,
sorry.
is the commentary on society is really is a strong, thought out show, and it's uncomfortable. There's people that that in the show basically just they want to be attacked because I guess it's like they don't know how to ask for help, and they know that the answer. I think most of the people that are in a spot where they feel like they're stuck, they know what the answer is, and they know that it's hard, and that it's just easier when they can turn to social media and have everybody feel sorry for them, and get that little dopamine hit you get from attention, which is why you should always pick the hard path instead of going that way. But this show really, I mean, this is 2005, which again is kind of like, what was going on in Japan? Were they living what we're living now in 2005?
In the show, was there like a social media platform?
I mean,
we had like Facebook.
When
right?
when we were in Japan in 2014, I had a 3DS, and we just played little games on it. But if you would watch other people, that was like an internet browser for everybody in Japan. They were texting and posting stuff and watching videos and stuff on their DSs. So I think they had more apps and things that functioned on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think same thing with earlier versions of phones. They had access to stuff that we didn't have. And if you go through this time frame, chat rooms and text group chats and things like that.
Existed.
Durara, that's a big part of Durara. Is you go back to all the characters in Durara are always back in the same chat room, always talking about like something that happened that day, and sometimes it's like a mystery who one of the people is and that kind of stuff. But it was very prevalent at that time, and that's the same kind of time frame that this is in. So it might not have been like TikToks, in 2005, but it was still people posting stuff online, message boards and group chat kind of things.
What was it called? ICQ, I think something. ICQ Messenger. Yeah, ICQ Messenger. AOL chat and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, all that stuff existed.
The show's amazing, but again, I guess that's where I hesitate to call this thing like a great production, is I don't like the topics. I mean, it's rough. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff about suicide. I know that's probably a bigger thing in Japan. Probably not. I'd imagine it's handled differently or viewed differently. Maybe I'm not sure what the right way to say that is.
I mean, you do have like honor killings and stuff like that, or honor suicide.
And you have like the forest there at the base of Mount Fuji, where people just go to hang themselves because they get isolated and they've given up, and it's a kind of frightening thing to think about, honestly.
I'm looking what the suicide rate in Japan is.
They, I don't even know how to bring this part up. This thing almost kind of made me sick. There's one of these police guys that's like working for the, what do you call the mafia there? The Yakuza. That's like taping his daughter, and she finds it and runs away, and then like a tsunami. I think the whole thing is happening in the background of this that they never really explain, and they kind of chalk it up to like it's part of Little Slugger. There's like a big storm, tsunami type thing that's a national disaster, and I think everybody at this point starts to attribute what happens with it eventually to Little Slugger did all of this. I mean, it's how out of control the idea of him gets. But the tsunami like hits this village with this police officer and his daughter in the home, and I think probably the storm even like knocks the girl out, and it's one of those things that like she gets knocked out in the storm and she thinks they just attribute it to Little Slugger. It's like everything that happens.
Again, that's and with the political landscape in America, it happens on both sides.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, there was for a while. I mean, think of it like from like the right perspective or the right wing perspective. Like someone died and they were younger than 60. They were like, did they get the COVID shot? You know, you find something, you blame everything on that one thing.
But
Little Slugger.
This girl wakes up in the hospital. The house is destroyed. The dad's there with her again, and she's got amnesia. She can't remember it. She can't remember any of the stuff that happened. And he's like sitting there with her, and she's like giggling, saying, "Who are you?" And that was the most uncomfortable thing I think I've seen on film in a long time, because the guy was literally had a camera set up in a room and was taping his own child. And then she got like knocked unconscious, basically, forgot all of that, all of the evidence of that got destroyed, and he goes back and picks her from the hospital, and she's just like hugging up on him like, "Who are you?" And I was like, I don't know if I want to watch any more of this. It's like I almost feel sick watching this.
Well, we've discussed this in the past. I like that anime exists to explore themes like this.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier, that like if there was an actress that had to portray that character, there's something. They've got to take something with that.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of exploring these themes in animated form because it's safer. That's the best way I can say it.
They show these like this lady that moves into an apartment building, and there's 3 wives that are meeting outside and gossiping about, did you hear about this and you hear about this? And I was like, well, I think Little Slugger did that. They're attributing like just people that killed themselves. That there's even like a story of like an in vitro nurse that screws up the labeling of stuff and gets somebody else's child to the wrong people.
Wonder how often that happens.
And the and I think I can't remember what they even say the Little Slugger did in that. Oh no, I guess I think the lady rejects her body rejects the baby because it's not hers, and they're like, well, Little Slugger hit her in the stomach.
Oh jeez.
And it's just like all these
everything. Little Slugger.
There's a lady in the apartment building that comes home and finds that her husband killed himself like over like trying to edit a script by a schedule, and
the stress got to him with
she
Little Slugger.
She comes out and tells everybody that her husband killed herself, or her husband got killed by a Little Slugger, and it's just like the way it keeps building over the show. It's like, I
mean, from what you're saying, it sounds like Little Slugger is almost built up to be like a metaphor for just pressure.
That episode with those wives, it kind of seemed like when you watch it the first time, it's like, are they just making content, or what is the point of this? And it's like it really. I watched that a second time. I was like, it really was just showing like the sick interest that people have in other people's misery, and how much these ladies were enjoying hearing all these stories. And it was like, it's like, man, Satoshi Kon, man,
he had his pulse on something.
And I won't go into when you get into the reveal of what happened behind all of this. It really is kind of like, oof. Because it comes back to, I say, it kind of visits all these other like little mini episodes with other people. It comes back around to the Tsukiko Sagi, the girl that made Murumi, and what is behind her whole story and what happens with her. And it's pretty rough. It's really good. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, you got me interested.
Yeah, no,
it sounds like an emotionally charged watching experience, and I've always enjoyed, and it's actually one of the reasons I think I've gravitated toward anime in general as a young man, is I like it when at the end of a series you're left like drained. Yeah. I like that. I like something that kind of challenges your perspective or challenges your worldview.
It's very quirky too. I mean, it's like there's there's characters that kind of come into this that are imagining themselves fighting a little slugger, and it's almost like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of role playing thing where
Okay.
like he's got a sword of truth that will fight, and that it's so so weird, man. Like I said, it is very hard to describe. It's there's a part of it where the guy who's the whole episode is the guy that's trying to deliver the first animated episode of Marumi to the studio on time, and it's because the storm is coming and it's raining, and I think he overslept or something, or maybe he had to finish editing, and I'm not sure they even laid out what happened on that. But he's late, and people are calling him all the time to get there, and he's like being chased up the interstate by like this kid on roller skates, and he keeps catching up to him, and he gets there. I don't know if he crashed or what. There's a lot of things that are really ambiguous about like what actually happens to the people, but the people at the studio come out and find him like dying on the sidewalk and like roll him over and find out, oh, he's got the tape. They get the tape and go inside and leave.
What?
And you're like,
Oh,
I'm like,
jeez.
what? It's like just showing how indifferent the corporations and
Yeah.
things like that are, or not even just corporations, but just people are to, as long as you do what I need you to do, you know, doesn't matter what happens to you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. If this was made today, he would probably include something about how people use the phone and like with the recording events
Yeah.
as a way to separate themselves from those events.
Yes.
Because that when you said the corporate people just took the tape and left, it kind of what it made me think of is how now in the real world, not even in fictional media, you'll have people standing there on their phones, watching on their phone as someone gets the daylight kicked out of them,
Yeah.
and they won't do anything
Yeah.
because it's content on their phone. It's not real because it's on their phone.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I don't know if you could get this made today. I guess maybe in Japan you might actually be able to do it. I
Yeah.
guess if they can make Sanda with the kids old people grooming
Yeah.
13-year-olds, I guess it wouldn't be hard to get this made. But it really is. I think the last thing I kind of wrote about it is it really is the ultimate illustration of a godless society. And just it should be part of like a college curriculum or maybe even a high school curriculum as far as that goes, to just let people see what selfishness and self-obsession kind of leads to, and how when you don't even consider the humanity and everything else, and how everything is just a means to another end, it becomes this cold thing where it doesn't matter what happens to. And some of the animation and stuff is really cool. Like there's
Well, that's what I remember from the trailer that we watched. Is it's very like trippy and psychedelic.
there's a wife who's dying of cancer, and when little slugger comes to like try to scare her into, I guess maybe she's thinking of killing herself or something. I'm not exactly sure what that. She keeps remembering the good parts of her life, and like little slugger keeps becoming like bigger, like he's trying to like scare her into. It's almost like a demon, you know,
Yeah.
trying to convince her to do the bad thing, and she just kind of keeps on fighting against it by being positive, and like by the end of it, it's like this huge thing. It's got these like werewolf-looking teeth, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah. The one of the investigator that's like cracking, trying to solve the thing, goes to like this town, and the whole town is like one-dimensional. It's like they're all like little paper cut figures.
That's cool.
And that's like how he's
Cool visual.
That's kind of like how he's seeing everything at this point, because he's kind of broken.
I think it's probably due to Satoshi Kon's like his vision of what a film should be.
Yeah.
But I really like, from what you've told me, how like normal, like the problems seem normal,
Yeah.
but the effects aren't.
Yeah.
And that I think that's that seems appealing to me, where it's not like I totally thought this was going to be something like, I thought the little slugger was going to be like an actual villain, not like a ghost like he sounds like, where people are just like blaming him. Whereas no, he's actually going around killing a bunch of people, and I thought it was going to be some sort of trippy psychedelic thing where like, oh well, there's a drug that's going around and it's making people hallucinate, that kind of stuff.
There's even like, there's a guy that shows up that is claiming to be him. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how much it overtakes
Yeah.
the society. There's people that want attention are latching onto it any way that they can. And
And it sounds like a lot of the visuals are like you said, like the paper town. It's like, well, no, it's not. It's not literally a one-dimensional town. It's just that person's worldview and perspective. That's how he like processes it.
yeah,
That's great. I love that. That sounds wonderful.
the shoot, there's one other thing I was going to say.
While you look for that, I do want to say that apparently Japanese suicide rate has fallen, and they are now below the United States. Congratulations. Or poor U.S. I don't know which one. I don't know if it's that the U.S. went above or Japan went below.
I really honestly wonder if it's not. I'd be interested to see those numbers, or if that's on a chart
Over time, yeah.
to see how that coincides with how much social media they had. 'Cause I think they had it before we did.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder if that's not correlated.
But United States is 23, and it looks like Japan's 25.
Yeah.
So, okay. That's depressing.
I had another thought and I lost it, so
Okay.
I'm not going to try to dig it back out. I can't remember.
That's
remember
fine.
what it was, but it's Oh no, there's.
Oh, there you
I
go.
remember what it is. Every episode ends, and there's this character at the beginning and the end. There's this crazy old guy that's like writing an equation and chalk on the thing. Every episode ends with like him in this monologue after the credits, and it's like I want to go back through and watch all those and like try to listen to those things, because the first time you hear it, it sounds like he's saying, "The purple moose flies to the moon," and blah blah blah, and you're like, "What?" But I think he's giving you riddle things about either what just happened or what you just saw or the next episode. And I completely was like not processing the first several times of that, to the point of I kind of want to go back and see what I think I missed something there. And there's something else that happens with one of the other investigators and him that I don't want to spoil too, because that's kind of cool to see. Almost kind of a Matrix type thing, where it seems like it just
No questions what reality is, that kind of thing.
that it comes back to where it started.
Oh.
I guess is the way to say it. Not that the same events repeat,
Right.
but just history repeats,
Okay.
kind of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
When you find out the path of the story of Tsukiko and what happens with her, and then see what happens next in the country after the disaster, which again so much of it's like not explained, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That you think that like little Slugger is like turning into this black mass that's just running down the streets and just blowing everything up, and I think that's literally a storm or like a tsunami type thing. I forget when the big tsunami was in Japan. I don't know when it relates time wise to this.
After, I'm pretty sure.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was like maybe 2010 or 11, but I know that's not the only
2011,
time.
yeah.
I know it's not the only time they've ever had a big one. And they've also had earthquakes and other things that have caused similar type things. But
overall, it just sounds like this. If you did not know when this was made, you could have told someone this was made in 2016, and they would have been like, "Yeah."
you could have told me this was made in 2025, and I've been like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
You could literally go through,
Wild.
just update the animation to be iPhones.
Yeah, instead of flip phones.
And it'd literally be the exact same story.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you rank stuff like this. It's like it's good. And it's like, man, it's not on the same level of like a Requiem for a Dream, where it's like, I saw that's an amazing film. Never show that to me again. I don't want to see it.
Well, there's a lot of stuff. It's like I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't recommend it. And I will tell people that. I'll be like, I enjoyed it.
I don't
think you should watch it.
I don't want to put that into this category, because there's some really,
Yeah.
really sharp observations that he makes that I think are things that a lot of people probably need to hear for themselves.
Well, like you said, you think it could be beneficial for this sort of maybe this explicitly to be like taught in college and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
the episode. I guess I come back to that because that's one that just from being a police officer and seeing some crime things that have happened in real life,
Yeah.
seeing the thing with and actually making him a police investigator involved in that kind of thing, and then just getting away with it. I guess that's the part that kind of made me kind of nauseous watching it. It's like he's nobody's going to know anything, and he's just going to do it again. And I'm like, ugh. It's like it's like this is a freaking it's a made up cartoon, and it's like I need to go hit something. You know?
That's it. That's reality now. So, well, reality always, but
yeah,
that's the reality. That's the reality we are confronted with today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay, so some good stuff, some bad topics.
Yeah, man. I try to narrow out things that I've. The other stuff that we watched recently here were like things from like 2010. I might bring them back to another one because they're not time-wise relevant. Like watching The Equalizer with Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah,
things like that. You could talk about those anytime.
Yeah. Like some of those kind of films is I think is like a coffee service. It's like we'll clump them together.
Yeah, that's what we filled our space with. These most of these are things I watch by myself, which I do because I'm getting to that age where I never sleep. Or if I do sleep, I sleep for a couple hours here and there. So I stay up late and watch stuff after everybody normal goes to bed. And that's what I did with Predator. That's what I did with One Punch. That's what I've been doing with Paranoia Agent. We watch other things together, which are much more enjoyable. But I couldn't not comment on Predator Badlands because I am a Predator fan. I grew up on that, and I just don't like people stealing crap and destroying it that I enjoy.
I am quite saddened by the trajectory of both Predator and Alien.
Yeah.
That's especially Alien. I think I enjoyed Predator growing up. I had toys and stuff of them too, but like I would have
loved to have had a toy.
I loved Alien. Loved Alien.
I took Cobra Commander in his metal battle outfit from G.I. Joe in his little silver metal outfit and got an actual piece of aluminum and cut wrist knives for him. So they were actually dangerously sharp. And I duct taped them onto him, and he was Predator.
Nice. When
I was a little kid. Which probably means I saw Predator way too early.
When you were a little kid.
When I was too early. Or too early for me. But
well, that was the way of a kid growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, I was outside or down in the basement playing with literally like something. You can put your eye out, kid. It's like, yeah, I made...
Yeah, we had lawn darts. What are you talking about?
I made aluminum sharp knives on a G.I. Joe guy that probably could have like cut somebody's arm open. And I was like, yeah, I was sitting there just slamming them together.
All right, well, our main course in the next episode is going to be The Matrix.
Yeah, and we will stick to the three films. And trying to condense that into an episode will be a challenge.
I am going to... Have you ever seen the fourth film?
We saw it in the theater together, right?
You and I saw it? I wasn't sure.
I saw it with a group.
I saw it in the theater.
I thought you were with us.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, I saw it in the theater with my family at least, and I thought maybe y'all were there too.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, it was what?
When something assaults
7-8 years ago now?
When something assaults your brain that hard, I'm like, I'm not really remembering the whole experience.
I've been to so many movies by myself. Like it in my mind's eye, it's just I'm in the theater by myself, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on the fourth one, and there's a reason.
I don't know if I pulled enough out of that to even touch on it, other than just like
I had to look a synopsis up because I was like, I don't remember. Like I remember like the broad strokes. I was like, I remember he was like in the real world, and but then they came to the real world, and like I remember the broad strokes. There was some
there's a
nuance.
little bit of that if you pulled it out and done it the right way, I would have probably thought it was kind of a cool idea, but they didn't do what I.
And that's primarily why I want to talk about it, because I had an expectation, and I ruin things for myself all the time because I'm like, this is what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen. And I'm like, my idea was better, and I'm still with the Matrix 4. I'm like, my idea was better, so I'll talk about that.
Yeah, I think if I sneezed into a tissue, that idea would be better than the fourth one. Not going to go on my shelf. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, thank you, Joel. This has been what episode 49?
Yeah.
Of Appalachian Dim Sum.
All right. Later.